Sportsline Podcast is rolling, and we always appreciate you checking us out today. I'm Bubba O'Neil. Friends, this pod loves to promote the Golden Horseshoe's outstanding athletes, coaches, executives, and teams. Now, with that in mind, the biggest local event of the year is just days away as the Hamilton Tiger Cats host the CFL East Final with a trip to the Grey Cup on the line. And I'm going to tell you, the environment at Hamilton Stadium is going to be fantastic. Well, the opposition, the Montreal Alouettes, who finished second in the East in the regular season standings. One win behind the Ticats. With Hamilton earning the bye week for their first place finish, Montreal are coming in hot following last week's semifinal victory over Winnipeg. To preview the East Final, let's bring in someone that knows a whole lot about those Alouettes. He is the co-host of the Alouettes Flightdeck Podcast. Clifford Pine, thank you so much for joining us on the Sportsline Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'll tell you, I didn't, obviously do a little research, obviously, as we do about each other. You guys are celebrating quite a milestone at the Alouettes Flightdeck Podcast. Congratulations. 10 years?
10 seasons, but yes, we're thrilled that we've been able to last this long. I mean, in this environment, shows come and go each and every day, but we've been able to do this thing for 10 seasons now, and it's been an absolute blast. We've had some highs, we've had some lows. We've seen this Montreal Alouettes team, at the bottom of the barrel. We've seen them win a Grey Cup and everything in between. So it has been an absolute blast.
Can you tell our viewers, and many in Southern Ontario, across the province of Ontario, how big football, the sport of football, is in the province of Quebec?
It's massive. I mean, you just take a look at even at the grassroots level. With the Alouettes coming back in 1996, it's almost as if the province fell in love with football again and realized, hey, this is an absolutely great sport. I want to be a part of it. And you look at the university level of football. I mean, what University of Laval and University of Montreal have been able to do. They have been, youth sports powerhouses like for decades now. You always hear them in the conversation year in and year out. I mean, how many Vanier Cups both those teams have won is immeasurable practically. I mean, this province absolutely loves football, starting with the Alouettes and all the way down to even like high school level and JUCO and any of these other institutions as well. I mean, people in Quebec love football. And it's kind of funny because the CFL draft seems like every year, everybody is worried about Danny Machocha possibly drafting all the Quebec-born players. Yet last year in the draft, or this year, I should say, in the draft, quite a few Quebec-born players ended up on other teams. It's almost as if like the secret's out, but it's always been there. I mean, for the past 20 years, even the province of Quebec has produced so many talented football players, and a lot of people I think just thought, well, they just want to play for the Alouettes. No, they want to play football. They'll go anywhere and play football. You just got to give them the opportunity to do so. And now I think a lot of the other teams are finally cluing in that, hey, we can draft these guys and they'll play for us.
Well, our local university, obviously McMaster here, they've had some just amazing games against Laval at the Vanier Cup, Montreal, like a real tight one at McGill as well, too, going back a couple of years. So, yeah, we understand what's going on in that province when it comes to the sport. Hey, let's get right back to the CFL. And before we talk about the obvious, can we just take a little pause here and fasten our seatbelt and wonder what on earth happened in Ottawa just yesterday with the hiring of Ryan Dinwiddie as their new head coach and general manager? I don't know how you felt, but I mean, I had to stand up and wipe my brow because I was like, I could not believe it. Did you have the same reaction?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I obviously we knew with Bob Dice being let go that the Redblacks had to make a move. They had to make a big move too, because I think the fan base in Ottawa was starting to get a little bit restless when it came to year after year of futility, essentially. I mean, last year notwithstanding, they did make it to the Eastern semifinal, but before that, there was just doom and gloom when it came to Ottawa. They had to make a home run shot, and they definitely did with this hire, because Ryan Dinwiddie, all he's done as a head coach is win and just put together fantastic team. So now, not only just being the head coach, but also the general manager of the Ottawa Redblacks, that's what really took me by surprise, because Sean Burke, I knew, had, I think, 1 year left on his deal. And when you hear that Dinwiddie is being named the head coach and GM, and they're going to kick Sean Burke upstairs as vice president of football operations, like, wow, okay, that was a move that had to be made. I unfortunate for Argos fans and MLSE, like, I don't know what happened, why they couldn't put it together for Dinwiddie to stay in Toronto, but I guess Toronto's loss is Ottawa's gain, and definitely took a lot of people by surprise, I'm sure, and this is a move that the Redblacks absolutely had to make if they wanted to be relevant in not just in the CFL but in the CFL East, with Montreal, Hamilton, and Toronto all vying for the top spot. Ottawa had to make a big move, and that's exactly what they did yesterday. They made a very, very big move.
Yeah, which means there's going to be a big move somewhere else, right? Like, that's just the nature of the Canadian Football League. Then there's a certain team in the province of Manitoba right now that are shaking in their boots because of a relationship between a former linebacker and special teams ace. I don't want to get caught for tampering here, but I mean, obviously, Pinball Clements has got a relationship with Mike O'Shea, I'll say his name, who's in the final year of his deal with the Blue Bombers. So who knows what's going to happen, and the drama, even before the season ends, is certainly underway, because there's, as I say, there's always going to be a trickle-down effect. So let's talk about the highlight that's going to be on Saturday at Hamilton Stadium. Tiger Cats 2-0 versus the Alouettes this season, 35-17 in Hamilton in June, and then in Montreal, 26-9 September. To you, do those games mean anything to you?
No. Simply because Davis Alexander was not quarterback for those games. And I don't think it was the best representation of the Montreal Alouettes in 2025 as a team. Having Davis Alexander behind center is the difference maker. He's proven it time and time again. This team is completely different when Davis Alexander is behind center versus when McLeod Bethel-Thompson or James Morgan is behind center, who the Tiger Cats ended up beating in the two games that happened in 2025. It is a seismic shift when Davis Alexander is behind center. The way this team operates, the way this team reacts to him, the way they want to have his back, the way they worked for him is completely different than any other quarterback that happens to be behind center for the Alouettes. It is a game changer in literally, physically, mentally, everything. The whole paradigm shifts when Davis Alexander is behind center. You saw it last week in the Eastern semifinal versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Every game that Davis Alexander has played this year, he's come away with a W. He is undefeated as a starting quarterback in this league. And as long as he's behind center, the Montreal Alouettes truly do have a chance. They really can come away with a W, because that's just how he is. That's how he's wired. He talks about how he's built for this league, how he's built for Montreal, how he's built for this Alouettes organization based on the results. And you can only go by the results. It's very hard to argue against him.
Well, what did Danny Machocha see? He basically either said to Cody Fajardo, we're going a Grey Cup winning quarterback with the Montreal Alouettes that we saw right here in Hamilton. And that was an unbelievable year that Cody put together with Montreal, and some seasons further. What was it that he saw in Davis Alexander, you think, that allowed him to let go of his Grey Cup winning quarterback, who ends up in Edmonton, and gives Davis Alexander a 3-year deal at top price?
Essentially came down to the body of work that he did in 2024 in relief of Cody Fajardo. I mean, without question, Cody Fajardo is very much loved in Montreal. The ability to bring the Grey Cup back to Montreal for the first time in 13 years, people are never going to forget that. People are always going to have a soft spot for Cody Fajardo in their hearts in Montreal. But when he got injured and Davis Alexander stepped in, and let's not forget, Davis Alexander has been in the system now for a couple of years. He's gotten to learn under some really incredible quarterbacks. We're talking Trevor Harris, Vernon Adams, Cody Fajardo, and yes, let's not forget his quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator is arguably the greatest quarterback in CFL history in Anthony Calvillo. So to be under that kind of a learning tree, I mean, Davis has no choice but to be good. If he didn't have the goods, they would have gotten rid of him a long time ago. But he learned. They kept him in the slow cooker, let him marinate for a little bit, let him really get to know the system and understand what it took to be a quarterback in this league. And when he got his opportunity, bam, he made the most of it right away. Victories against Hamilton, Saskatchewan, and so on. I mean, he just simply So, I mean, for Davis to come in and play the way he has been nothing short of outstanding.
Well, obviously, he is the guy that stirs the drink in terms of the offense for the Montreal Alouettes. Is the running game good enough, do you believe?
You know, there may have been some doubts earlier. You didn't know exactly what you were going to get with Stevie Scott this year, but he has proven himself time and time again. I mean, Sean Thomas Erlington, who you guys in Hamilton know as well from back in the day, he was our RB1 for a while. Then we had this unknown in Travis Tice, who very much like AJ Ouellette just is like trying to tackle a bowling ball. I mean, he had some pretty outstanding games as well. When those guys went down to injury, Stevie Scott was the next man. It was next man up, essentially. They just said, okay, it's your turn, kid. And boy, howdy, did he ever put in a performance. Over the past couple of weeks, he has really shown himself to be an outstanding running back. And this has shown that he's able to carry the load. He's able to do the job. I mean, Davis Alexander could just hand the rock off to him, and great things are going to happen. He scored 2 touchdowns, and he looked absolutely fabulous in doing so. I think this running game in Montreal is vastly underrated. And if you don't know, you're about to learn.
You know, when I look at the Montreal defense, I mean, everyone's got their favorites. Marc-Antoine Dequoy, I fear him. I think he is a complete game changer at that safety position. His speed, his ability to break on the ball, and he just seems to make big plays. But when we're looking at the Montreal defense, which is a talented one and has got an unbelievable coordinator and scheme, what do you think they have cooked up for Hamilton?
Well, if you've ever watched the Noel Thorpe defense, you know it's going to be blitz heavy. The front seven is going to be absolutely dangerous. And Levi Mitchell, as great as a quarterback as he is, he's going to have his work cut out against this front seven because they're going to be coming for him. Isaac Adeyemi-Berglund, the most outstanding Canadian nominee in the Eastern Division this year, he's told me, there's one quarterback I have never had a chance to sack, and that's Bo Levi Mitchell. And you better believe this coming Saturday, he's going to do everything he can to make that dream come true. You look at Darnell Sankey, Tyrese Beverett. These guys are absolute rock stars at the linebacking position. I mean, just everything about this defense is just built to win and built to compete. And you see that year after year after year, this defense, regardless of what happens offensively, this defense just finds ways to make the quarterback's life a living hell. And I don't see that changing at all on Saturday. I think this entire defense, you know, defensive line, linebackers, secondary, you name it, they're going to do everything they can to put points on the board themselves, you know, defense, so make this offense for Hamilton work for every single thing they're going to get.
You know, it's funny when you take a look at that the Tiger Cats offense, who actually, when you look back in the history books, that Hamilton have an unbelievable historical record against Montreal in what we would consider the East Final. It's been named a couple of different things over the last 50 years. But in the semifinals, Montreal have won back-to-back years, back-to-back meetings against Hamilton, games in Montreal. And in that very last game 2 years ago, it wasn't Bo Levi Mitchell that was starting. It was a guy by the name of Matthew Schultz with Bo Levi Mitchell watching from the sideline. When you look at Bo Levi Mitchell now, a guy that's not going to be on the sideline on Saturday, what do you think about him? And what do you think about the fact that the way he has been able to, I guess you could say, reshape his career?
I give Bo Levi a ton of credit. I mean, I think a lot of people have slept on him ever since he came to Hamilton. I mean, yeah, that first year, it's just a simple matter, or even last year, I should say, just trying to work with Scott Milanovich's offense, and maybe they weren't quite on the same page, but once they did get on the same page, absolutely tremendous. I mean, the stats don't lie. I mean, he has definitely done everything he can to showcase himself and remind everybody that he is who he says he is. And that's going to be, I think, a very important thing for Hamilton. If Hamilton's going to walk away with the victory and go to the Grey Cup, it's going to be because Bo Levi Mitchell is going to play the game of his life. It sounds funny to say because he's already won Grey Cups. He's already done incredible things in this league. But I think for him, the cherry on top of what's going to be a surefire Hall of Fame career is going to be bringing Hamilton their first Grey Cup in, was it now 26 years since the last time they raised the trophy? Bo Levi Mitchell wants to do that. And I'm sure he realizes he's got his work cut out for him against this Alouettes defense, but I think he's up for the task. And again, he's going to have to work for everything. There's no question about that. But if anyone could really give the Montreal Alouettes fits, I think it definitely truly will be number 19.
Well, there's no doubt that, Bo Levi Mitchell and, of course, Davis Alexander, they're the kind of guys that will headline. And, of course, they'll be the reason why maybe a lot of people watch this game outside of the actual Hamilton and Montreal markets, because they are such big names in this league. And, of course, there is a sort of natural, old guy versus young guy on the way up kind of theme that I think a lot of people will be talking about. But obviously, you know the screws and the nuts of both teams. And I'll ask you this question here, starting with Hamilton. If you're going to name someone outside of a Bo Levi Mitchell, who do you fear? Who do you think can be that sort of X factor guy in this contest in the East Final for Hamilton?
I think offensively, the name that really surprises me more than anything else, and I get with Kenny Lawler being on the team, that would be the easiest answer to make. But Keandre Smith is someone who I've been extremely impressed with. I mean, young Canadian who just seems to get better year after year after year. That is someone that can be like a sleeper, almost like someone you just waiting for the right moment before he explodes and does some absolutely outstanding things offensively. On defense, I mean, Reggie Stubblefield. I mean, former Montreal Alouette. I think if you don't know his story, it is such an incredible one. I mean, he was cut from training camp in 2023 by the Montreal Alouettes, came this close to signing with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and then came back to Montreal, helped them win a Grey Cup, and now he's a part of the Hamilton Tiger Cats and facing the same Alouettes team that he won a Grey Cup with. I mean, there's plenty of storylines in this game without question, but I mean, I think that one is one that maybe a lot of people don't know about, and they better pay attention because Reggie Stubblefield truly is who he says he is. I mean, he is definitely a great defensive player. I mean, whether he's in the linebacking core or in the secondary, he does it all, and he does it so well. And he's excited. He's jacked to get back into the playoffs, to be back, in a perfect world, maybe in his mind, he thought he could have done it with the Alouettes, but nope, he's going to do it with the Tiger Cats. And hey, good on him for it. Like he's doing his thing, and he's someone that Montreal is definitely truly going to have to pay attention to. I mean, I think both these gentlemen that I mentioned, those I think are the guys that can be true game breakers for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on Saturday.
All right, well, I'll flip the coin over to the other side. And, of course, there are some focus players with Montreal. We already talked about Davis Alexander. Who, again, could be that X factor on offense and defense for the Alouettes?
Offensively, we didn't hear his name very much last week, but Tyler Snead has just been simply outstanding this year. I mean, regardless of who the quarterback is, he managed to log over 1,000 yards receiving. He just makes those simple plays. He gets those dirty yards that I like to talk about. Just grinds it out. I mean, I see a lot of Ben Cahoon in him. I even jokingly call him Cahoon 3.0 because he's a little guy. He does the work that a lot of people don't want to do, but when the quarterback needs someone to get those extra yards and get the first down, you go towards Tyler Snead. And I didn't hear a lot from him last week, but I got a feeling that this could be the type of game that he has a breakout yet again. And he's been doing it all year. He's just been quietly putting in the work time and time again and racking up the yards, racking up touchdowns. And he's just doing those little things that a team needs to do in order to win. I definitely see Tyler Snead having one of those games on Saturday. Defensively, oh my gosh! I mean, there's just so many people I could name, but I think Lual Ugalak, who was a bit of a game time decision on last Saturday, and ended up playing extremely well, but he's a guy that ultimately helped this Alouettes team win a Grey Cup in 2023. In that game in Hamilton Stadium, he was an absolute force. And if it wasn't for Tyson Philpott scoring the game-winning touchdown, I probably would have made him the most outstanding Canadian. I think Ugalak is the kind of guy that I think, much like Isaac Adeyemi Berglund, wants to get his hands on Bo Levi Mitchell, wants to disrupt him, wants to break through that offensive line in Hamilton and just get to the quarterback. And if he can do that, then it's going to be a very long day for Mr. Mitchell, because I think Lual Ugalak, he's had a taste of the success. He's got a Grey Cup ring, but he wants another one. And if he can get to the Grey Cup as a result of playing in Hamilton, the same stadium where he won the Grey Cup 2 years ago, I think that's a very big motivating factor for him.
Those are outstanding X factors for the Alouettes, and Sneed worries me. He's like, and I know you compared him to Calhoun. He's kind of like our old Luke Tasker here in Hamilton. That guy, he's just, especially on second downs. Second downs, little guy finding the seam in the zone, and somehow great running after the catch as well too to get you that first down, and you're just like, how did he get open, right? Sneed certainly reminds me of that kind of a player, that's in that mold of a Luke Tasker. Let's ask you the final question here on this actual game. You can pick a game. I don't know. Sometimes I don't like to pin people down who's going to win or lose, but I'll kind of go about it this way. Montreal are 2.5, 3-point favorites in this game. Did that surprise you?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, typically when it comes to me, although I kind of look at it now as a pick 'em, because usually you get a 3-point bump when it comes to, like, the hometown team usually gets a 3-point bump. So I mean, if you think of it that way, then this is basically a pick 'em game, and it makes sense because I do really feel that both these teams are as equal as possible. I mean, you match them up statistically, I mean, they're neck and neck. I see them as 1A and 1B, quite frankly, and honestly, I think 3 points, it was surprising to see that Montreal is favored by that, but I have a feeling a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're on a bit of a heater right now. Like, I mean, being able to hand the Winnipeg Blue Bombers a defeat was no small feat, especially in the playoffs when a lot of people were expecting Winnipeg to be that crossover team that finally does get to the Grey Cup. And unfortunately, they just ran into a buzzsaw called the Montreal Alouettes. It happens. When I look at this game, though, I'm excited. I truly am, in the sense that this is going to be a great matchup. Win or lose, I think both teams are going to leave it all out on the field. They're going to empty the clip. They're going to do what it takes to win this game. And I really think it could come down to either Jose Maltos or Mark Leggio kicking a game-winning field goal in a potentially very windy Hamilton Stadium. And whoever's able to do that, whoever's able to stay disciplined and just focus on what they have to do, stick to their game plan, I think that's a team that's going to end up going to Winnipeg and representing the East in the Grey Cup.
There's no doubt about that. Get you out on this here. 12-7 Lions, 12-6 Riders. Big battle in the province of Saskatchewan. Riders been, I think, the best team pretty consistently. They did show some vulnerabilities, especially in their kicking game. Quarterback has stayed healthy. They run the ball well. Their defense is aggressive. But Lions got this guy by the name of Nathan Rourke who can just tear up all of that. Who do you like in the West final?
Well, that's going to be a fun game, too. It'd be kind of hard to go against Kid Canada because I think a lot of people want to see the BC Lions, do their own version of shocking the world, because everybody expects Saskatchewan to go into Winnipeg, go into their house and represent for the West. But I am not sleeping on this BC Lions team at all. As long as Nathan Rourke is healthy and upright and able to sling the rock, good things are going to happen. I mean, I think Saskatchewan's a fantastically coached team. I think they do a lot of the things right. Trevor Harris has found the fountain of youth and is using it to his advantage. Good on him for that. This too, I do not see a blowout in this game at all. I'm kind of leaning more towards Saskatchewan, if only because of that hometown advantage. They're going to have that with them. But they do have a tendency to, I found out over the past couple of weeks, they've had a tendency to coast. And sometimes being the best team in the CFL just means that you get complacent. And will they be able to get themselves ramped back up after having a week off? That's going to be the key. If they can do that, then I definitely think Saskatchewan's going to win this game quite handily, but I am not going to count out Nathan Rourke by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he just has that it factor, very much like Davis Alexander in the East. I think Nathan Rourke really has the opportunity right now to establish himself truly as who he says he is and showcase that he's not some flash in the pan that didn't make it in the NFL. He has made it very clear he wants to be the guy, not just in BC, but in the CFL as well. Like, he wants to be that guy that you look to as, the man, so to speak. And listen, as a young Canadian quarterback with lots of time left in his career, there's no question in my mind that he can get it done. And if he's able to withstand the cold and the noise that's going to be happening in Saskatchewan, we could very well see BC Lions versus, either Hamilton or Montreal. I mean, it's going to make we're going to see two very good games on Saturday. That much I can pretty well guarantee. We're not going to see blowouts. We're not going to see snooze fest or anything like that. Like, this is going to be absolute cinema as far as I'm concerned.
I'm so with you. I think we've, over the last couple of years, there's always been either the East Final or the West Final where it's like, that's an easy win for someone. But I think both of these games are so amazingly compelling and so close in terms of records and abilities that I think the CFL are in for, I won't guarantee a great Grey Cup, but this semifinal weekend certainly sets up real well. Hey, doing real well yourself there, Clifford. Thank you so much for joining us on the Sportsline Podcast. For the people that are outside of our province, and I've been listening to you guys, you and your co-hosts put together your podcast. It's audio visual as well too. You do an outstanding job. Where can we find you?
Well, best place to look is www.alouettesflightdeck.ca. You can find us pretty much anywhere you find your podcasts, or you can find us on YouTube as well. We're all over social media as well. Just look for Alouettes Flightdeck. And this is our 10th season, and God willing, we'll do another 10 because we're having a blast doing it. It is a lot of fun. We appreciate everyone that likes, subscribes, and so on. So yeah, definitely, if you have a chance, check it out. Definitely love talking football. Definitely love talking Alouettes as well. So if you get the chance, by all means, check out the Alouettes Flight Deck.
Good luck to the Alouettes. Wink, wink. Thanks for joining us, partner.
Hold on. I just hope both teams have fun, right?
And that both teams get trophies at the end of the game.
I don't know, could you be a co-Eastern representative, I wonder?
There's going to be a winner. There's going to be someone that's pretty sad. We saw that with the Blue Jays. Thanks again for joining us, partner.
All right. Always a pleasure.
All right, take care. That's your Sportsline Podcast for the day. And if you've just seen and heard, we love talking sports. Boy, it's going to be a great one. Montreal, Hamilton, East Final at the Hamilton Stadium. Get there. And remember, wear black. It's blackout. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote the Sportsline Podcast, you want to hear from you. Please hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe button. And if you do have something to say, appreciate your comments as always. For the outstanding people in the control room that make the Sportsline Podcast possible, thank you. And we'll see you real soon.